San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the Chicago Cubs in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Cubs, left-hander Matthew Boyd, and for the Padres, right-hander Nick Pivetta. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at Wrigley Field in Chicago at 11:20. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll hear from Padres radio voice Jesse Agler in just a few minutes. And a little bit later, we'll hear from Marquee Sports Network's Alex Cohen do a deep dive on the Chicago Cubs. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres are not perfect. They're 7-1 to begin the season. They had a perfect 7-0 homestand before losing yesterday's series opener in Chicago. Meanwhile, the Cubs entered today 6-4. They've won 4 games in a row, a 3-game sweep in Sacramento, followed by yesterday's series opening win. The big headline of today's game, Nick Pivetta takes the mound for his second start in a Padres uniform. He went 7 scoreless innings in his Padres debut last Sunday against the Atlanta Braves. Before we turn our full attention to today's game, let's take a quick look back at what happened yesterday at Wrigley Field. It was a rough first inning for Randy Vasquez yesterday. He gave up a leadoff single, then got the next 2 outs, but then went on to walk the next 3 batters in a row. That walked in a run. Cubs took a 1-0 lead. Meanwhile, Cubs starter Shota Imanaga retired 8 in a row to begin his game, but then it was Martin Maldonado.
Martin Maldonado, the batter, swings at the first pitch, hammers it in the air to deep left field. Happ is back towards the corner, at the wall, looking up, gonna go! Martin Maldonado's first home run as a Padre is a 2-out shot here at Wrigley Field, and we got a 1-1 game in the third.
It stayed tied at 1. Randy Vasquez really settled in after that rocky opening frame. He retired 12 in a row from the end of the first inning until there were 2 outs in the 5th inning. But then Randy got in trouble again. Ian Happ hit a 2-out single, a walk to Kyle Tucker, a walk to Seiya Suzuki to load the bases. Mike Shildt went to get Vasquez. He brought in Yuki Matsui. Cubs manager Craig Counsell responded by pinch hitting the right-handed hitting Justin Turner.
Tie game, and a 2-1 hit sharply on the ground is short. Xander to his right has it, tries to go to second, not in time. Happ will come in to score. The Cubs go back in front 2-1, and I think that might be the first inherited runner that the Padres have allowed to score this entire season.
Indeed it was. The bases were still loaded. Dansby Swanson hit a ground ball to third base. Manny moving to his left couldn't field it cleanly. An error on Manny. Another run scored. Cubs had a 3-1 lead. Imanaga was really, really good. Gave up just 1 run in 7 innings in the third. Padres bullpen did a good job of keeping it a 2-run deficit. They still trailed 3-1 going to the 9th inning, but they did make noise against Cubs closer Ryan Presley. They had the tying runs in scoring position. 2 men away. Jake Cronenworth dug in. The count went to 3-2.
3-2. The pitch. Cronenworth takes on the inside corner. Strike 3 called, and the ball game is over. Padres got the tying run into scoring position here in the top of the 9th inning, but Presley, who had to work for it, closes it out as the Padres lose for the first time here in 2025.
Well, they weren't going to finish 162-0. Padres dropped to 7-1 on the year. Cubs improved to 6-4, and now we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game set coming up in Chicago. Let's go out to Wrigley Field. Well, Jesse, first things first, a very happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jesse Agler. And I know it's not sunny San Diego. I know it's a lot colder in Chicago, but of all places to spend your birthday, a place like Wrigley Field, I think, is pretty good.
Oh, no doubt about it. Thanks for the birthday wishes. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be on the road somewhere, on a day that means something to you personally, this is it, especially for baseball dorks like us. It's just so special. And I'll use the opportunity to just say to any Padre fans, whoever have the opportunity to get here, do it, take full advantage. If you have a business trip through Chicago or a family vacation, I don't care who they're playing. You get yourself a ticket. Come and check this thing out, because it is. If you're a big baseball fan, it's just magical, and it's got the history kind of living and breathing. But it's such a quirky, different place than really any other place, and very, very, very lucky to be able to be here today. No doubt about it. Thanks again.
And the area around it, Wrigleyville, very unique as well. Just a great trip to Chicago. I would recommend it as well. Before we talk baseball, Jesse, let's check in on the Accu Jesse 5000 or whatever model we're on these days. How's the weather today in Chicago?
Hey, we got a little drizzle, which just sort of adds to it all, right? Makes it that much more special. I think it's like a half tick warmer than yesterday. We might reach 50 by first pitch, so we certainly appreciate that. That's something. The wind continues to blow in about 10 miles an hour, gusting to 17. It's going to cool off again tomorrow. Then we leave, and it snows on Monday. So we're getting out of town right in time from that perspective. By the way, they got a night game here against the Rangers on Monday, so that could be interesting for all involved parties. But yeah, I mean, it's gray, it's drizzly, it's cool but not freezing, and we're both dressed, Tony and I think a little bit better than we were yesterday.
Let's talk baseball. On the mound today for the Padres, right-hander Nick Pivetta. Obviously, a terrific opening start in the Padres uniform last weekend against the Braves, 7 scoreless innings. What were your early impressions of Nick Pivetta, what he did in that first start, and your expectations for Nick here today?
I mean, he was brilliant, obviously, that night. 1 hit in 7 shutout innings, faced the minimum. That was just a dominant performance by the guy. And, it's going to be really, really neat after, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 starts to kind of look at the way he's used his repertoire and compare it to previous years in his career. Maybe there will be big changes. Maybe there will be subtle changes. Maybe there will be no changes. But I'm really interested and excited to kind of see how that all plays out and sort of what Padre Pivetta is as compared maybe to Boston or Philadelphia Pivetta. I think part of the idea, certainly, and this goes for all the Padres starters, but, we saw it a lot from him the other day. Remember, he only threw 82 pitches in the 7 innings. He showed a mastery of being able to get that quick early out. And that's the key to the whole operation over the course of the long season. Your starter can go deeper if that's the case, which relieves some of the pressure from the bullpen. And those things add up big time over the course of the 6-month regular season. So, hopefully we see more of that from Nick Pivetta, those quick early outs. I'm not going to demand 7 shutout innings with 1 hit allowed every time out, but I'd certainly take it here today against a Cub offense that came in very, very hot. But as we said, with the weather and the wind, definitely it looks like another good day to be a pitcher here today.
Speaking of pitching, let's quickly touch on the Cubs starting pitcher, left-hander Matthew Boyd. He's been around a while, first season with the Cubs. He's been good so far. And really, you look at it, Jesse, between what he did at the end of last year with Cleveland and what he's done so far with the Cubs, he's in the midst of a pretty nice run. Good left-hander.
Yeah, good left-hander, been around forever, hasn't been healthy in forever either. It'll be his first ever start against the Padres. When I kind of sat down last night to do my Matthew Boyd work, I thought to myself, I was like, man, I can't remember seeing this guy. And sure enough, the Padres, one of only 3 teams that he's never faced in his long major league career. So he'll check that box today. But you're right. I mean, he's one of these guys, when he's healthy, he's really good. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy, all kinds of elbow and arm issues, really the last 6 years at this point. But a guy who knows how to pitch, and that's fun, right? Because you get 2 guys who really know what they're doing out on the mound here today. 2 guys who know what they are, not trying to be any more than they are. And to me, that makes for very entertaining baseball.
All right, Jesse, well, enjoy the birthday. This works out really well because you should be out of there by 4 or 5 o'clock. Enjoy a nice birthday evening in the great city of Chicago. So enjoy it, have fun, and hopefully the Padres can pick up a nice win to cap it all off.
Appreciate it, Sammy. Have a great day.
All right, Jesse Agler joining us here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 11:20 at historic Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. Still a lot to do on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, a little bit later, we check in with Marquee Sports Network's Alex Cohen, do a little deep dive on the Chicago Cubs. Plus, our keys to the game, a deeper look at today's pitching matchup between Matthew Boyd and Nick Pivetta. Much, much more to do as we get ready for a little Saturday baseball in Chicago. Cold there, sunny here. We continue after this on the Padres Radio Network. Back here on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show, EcoWater SoCal keeping it soft since 1925. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for today's game here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 11:20 at Wrigley Field. Right-hander Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. Left-hander Matthew Boyd on the mound for the Cubs. Quick look at the Padres lineup today. Right fielder Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off. First baseman Luis Arraez batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Xander Bogaerts batting cleanup playing shortstop. Center fielder Jackson Merrill batting fifth. DH Yuli Gurriel batting sixth. Jake Cronenworth batting seventh playing second. Brandon Lockridge in left field batting eighth. And Elias Diaz behind the plate doing the catching, batting ninth against the left-hander Matthew Boyd. So Bogaerts in the cleanup spot. Yuli Gurriel, right-handed hitting DH. Brandon Lockridge, right-handed hitting left fielder here today. So a lot of righties in the lineup today against the lefty Matthew Boyd. With all that in mind, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Like the starting rotation really seems to have settled in, especially in the last 5 games. No more than 2 earned runs allowed by any of your starters over that stretch. Your thoughts on how the rotation's been doing and maybe some insights on each guy we can go through.
Yeah, I think the rotation's been solid, very solid. It has been a big part of our good start. It will consistently set the tone for how the club performs. We can start with Pavetta today. Nick coming off 7 strong innings. Love the fact he's able to get 9 ground ball outs. He got his punch outs as well, but because he's able to get early contact, he's able to go deeper in the game, which, as we all know, helps our bullpen. I think Nick's done a great job. I'm excited to see him pitch today. Vasquez from last night, a couple at bats where, command got away from him. Took him a while to get a feel for the ball early on. But better as you went, and then 2 outs, nobody on the 5th. The inning just got away a little bit. But through 6 shutouts, first time out, gave us more than enough chance to win yesterday. So Vasquez done a really nice job. Leads you into Hart starting tomorrow. Excited about the lefty. Went out, got some really quality innings against a good club last time out and with Cleveland, and excited to see him pitch and continue to get to know him a little bit. And then you got, Michael King, who's throwing the ball, first outing against a tough club. Ball was getting away from him a little bit, was harnessed his, plus stuff, against Cleveland was really good, 11 punch outs. So quality outing for Michael, and then really pleased with Dylan. Dylan's throwing the ball exceptionally well all spring. Love the change up. Just love the fact that he's in the zone with a lot of multiple plus pitches, and really excited about the rotation.
You mentioned the early outs, especially with Nick Pavetta. Is that something that you are hoping to see or talking to these guys about for the entire rotation, or is it more game by game that might happen just to try to be more efficient throughout the season?
We're always looking for early outs, for efficiency. I mean, the strikeouts are great. They're definitely a part of our arsenal. They're there when we, but the fact of the matter is, for long-term longevity for the pitchers, and then for our bullpen to be able to go deeper in games, ability to get some consistent early outs is going to be really important.
As far as the order of the rotation, for example, yesterday you got Vasquez has a lot of spin. Today is Nick Pavetta. He's getting more four-seam curveball. Then tomorrow you got the lefty going. Is there some advantage in terms of having some different looks out there with the rotation that you go to?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we have different looks. I mean, Dylan's different than everybody on the staff in his pitch shapes. Michael is probably a little closer to Pavetta. But yeah, they're all have distinct looks. Vasquez does it differently, and of course, Hart the only lefty in the group. So we do have different looks that we can provide to the other team, and that's definitely beneficial.
Obviously, a line of it today, but Jackson's been really good left on left. What have you liked about him in that number 5 spot in the order with the guys in front of him?
The guys are in front of him. I like the guys that are in front of Jackson. I think Bogies took some really good at bats yesterday in different conditions. Has a really positive day from a number standpoint. But the guys, I mean, you're talking about Toddy obviously doing his thing. Louis, 3-time batting champion. Manny's Manny, and Bogey's in a good place, and I think it sets up Jackson in a good spot for 5. So Jackson's interchangeable in a lot of different places in the order.
Is there a guy you would always be confident Tatis would come around, whether he had a stretch or Manny or the big players, but Arise in particular, is there a guy that you'd be less worried about, like Luis Arise, because he's hitting a lot of balls that would be hits other times?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered your own question. I got this question the other day on a radio show, like, you're concerned of Luis Arise. I'm like, 0. And people get so, and understandably, baseball is wonderful for a lot of reasons, but it's a very statistical driven game and number driven game. And people look at the numbers and go, oh my gosh, Luis Arise, the world's ending. No, the guys, first of all, we've played, 8 games. And he's hit the ball as good as he's hit it in the 3 years he's won batting titles. And if 3 balls don't go right at somebody, then you'd be going, look at Louis, he's on track for another batting title. Now, if Louis was swinging and missing a lot and striking out and not having quality at bats consistently, then yeah, there'd be really no real concern there either, probably. But the fact of the matter is he's not. He's on the barrel a lot. The quality of bats are good, and that's the lens I judge things at least, is just having the quality of bats that tell us he's in a good spot. And the game, it's another thing about baseball that we love it and also challenging is it's the only real sport you can do everything 100% right and got to get the result. And so Louis is going to get his hit, so it'll be just fine.
Has the day-to-day catching split just basically been like pitcher related? Is that kind of what's been?
Yeah, I feel good about it. We're not absolutely married to it, but I do like it. It has, I believe, paid dividends not only this year but in the past, including last year. Where if there's a synergy between a pitcher and a catcher, and right now we've got guys that are aligned with certain catchers and pitchers together, and it's a good situation. I get the privilege of seeing them work together, prep together, talk together, spend time together during the series, and so there may be a change of it at some point. Schedules allowed it to where there hadn't been anything from a scheduling standpoint that's been prohibitive. These guys have been getting their rhythm and work in, but long answer your question, that's been the thought process.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game inside the dugout at Wrigley Field. We'll hear more from Mike coming up on our post-game coverage later on this afternoon. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 11:20 in Chicago. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
First, we take a look at the hot category. Fernando Tatis Jr. certainly in there. 2 more hits yesterday. He's batting .433 with a home run on this young season. Jackson Merrill has a hit in 8 consecutive games to begin his season. Longest hitting streak at the start of the season by a Padres player since John Jay also hit in his first 8 games in 2016. He's batting .429 in 28 at-bats to begin his year. Merrill's double yesterday came on the first pitch of his at-bat. Both his home runs have also come on the first pitch. There was a great note today from Kevin Acee in the San Diego Union Tribune. Going back to the start of last season, Merrill has a .465 batting average and .1387 OPS when putting the first pitch of an at-bat into play. So if Jackson's ever swinging at the first pitch and he makes an out and you're thinking, man, he should have taken a pitch, no, he's really, really good on the first pitch. Not category, we'll put Yuli Gurriel in there. 1 for 11 to begin his season. Gurriel back in the lineup today against the left-handed starter Matthew Boyd. We'll see if Gurriel can get it going today at Wrigley Field. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 11:20. Let's take a look at some headlines from around the majors.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you Around the Horn, presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
A few headlines from around Major League Baseball. Diamondbacks second baseman Ketel Marte put on the 10-day IL earlier today, suffered a strained left hamstring while running the bases in yesterday's game, so the D-backs will be without their best player for a little bit. Aaron Judge hit his 6th home run of the season yesterday in a win against the Pirates. Now 321 career home runs for Judge, the most by a player through his first 1,000 games. The 321 home runs also matched the number hit by Babe Ruth in his first 1,000 games with the Yankees. So pretty interesting correlation there. Hits, meanwhile, keep on coming for the Braves. A 1-7 start, and now right-hander Reynaldo Lopez is having exploratory arthroscopic surgery on his inflamed right shoulder this week. He's already on the 60-day IL, so they're going to be without Reynaldo Lopez for a while. Brewers seeking a 5th straight win today after having lost their first 4 games of 2025. Brewers pitching has been terrific lately, just 1 earned run given up in 38 innings over their last 4 games. And the Stars are out in Anaheim today. Jose Ramirez coming off his 2nd career 3-home run game in yesterday's win for the Guardians against the Angels in Anaheim. Mike Trout has hit a home run in back-to-back games. He looks to homer in a 3rd consecutive game. And that's a quick look at headlines from around the major leagues. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later on. When we come back, we're joined by Marquee Sports Network's Alex Cohen to talk about the Cubs. A little bit later, we'll tell you what to watch for in today's game, our keys to the game, and a full breakdown of today's pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Matthew Boyd. First pitch coming up at 11:20 right here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 11:20 for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Cubs. And right now I'm joined by a guy who knows a lot about the Chicago Cubs. It's Marquee Sports Network's Alex Cohen. Alex will be on the call on Marquee Sports Network on the Cubs telecast tomorrow. Alex is at Wrigley Field. Alex, how's the weather in Chicago this morning?
It is not warm. I can safely say that the weather is much, much better in San Diego than it is in Chicago right now. But Sam, thanks for having me on.
Well, it is a sunny, beautiful morning in Chicago. I can't lie to you, but Padres getting ready to take on the Cubs, trying to bounce back after losing yesterday's game 3-1. Alex, let's just start with the general feeling heading into the year for the Cubs. They had a pretty active offseason, trading for Kyle Tucker, a couple of pretty notable signings as well. What was the outlook for the Cubs heading into the season, and how would you describe the first week or so of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation is always to win the Central, get back to the playoffs. And when you trade for a top 10, possibly top 5 hitter in baseball, I think those expectations just grow a little bit more. And they had one of the best starting pitching staffs in all of baseball last year. They hope to improve the bullpen, and they're hoping that Pete Crow-Armstrong could get better in his second full year, and Michael Busch can get better in his second full year. And so far the players have played well, and obviously they go to Japan, they lose 2 games against the Dodgers, they blow a game against the Diamondbacks in that first series, but since then they've been lights out. They've won 4 straight. They dominated in that series against Sacramento. And yesterday, it was just a really well-played game between both teams. And I've been pretty impressed with the Padres. They play a really nice, aesthetically pleasing brand of baseball. And I think it was a well-played game that just the Cubs were able to come out on top for. So it was 2 well-played, two good teams playing a well-played baseball game yesterday.
I don't think anybody would be surprised to see these 2 teams in October when it's all said and done. Alex, let's talk a little bit more about Kyle Tucker. Obviously, the Cubs make the trade for him in the offseason. Really nice start with the Chicago Cubs. Had that awesome series in Sacramento, home runs in 4 consecutive games. What have been your early impressions of Kyle Tucker?
He's really, really good. That's my initial impression. And you see him during spring training, and he goes 1 for his first 31, and there's a natural panic because you give up Cam Smith, your first-round draft pick in 2024, and you make the Astros out of spring training, and you trade away Hayden Wesneski, who is going to be a piece in that pitching staff, and you trade Isaac Paredes, who might hit 30 home runs with the Astros this year, and you think, man, you really need Kyle Tucker to be Kyle Tucker. And you know what? When you hit homers in 4 consecutive games and you really take over that series against the Athletics, he is, as I said, a top 10, possibly top 5 hitter in baseball. He's shown that for the last handful of years. And the first 10 games here for the Cubs has been pretty indicative of that. He's a lineup changer for this team, and they hopefully can have him for a long, long time.
We're joined by Marquee Sports Network's Alex Cohen. Alex will be on the call tomorrow on the telecast as the Padres take on the Cubs. But first things first, Game 2 of this 3-game set coming up at Wrigley Field at 11:20 a.m. here on the West Coast. Let's talk about today's starting pitcher, Alex. For the Cubs, that's left-hander Matthew Boyd, veteran left-hander. Had a really nice run last year in Cleveland towards the end of the regular season. Some nice outings in the postseason as well. What do you feel like attracted the Cubs to Matthew Boyd, and how would you describe his early part of the season?
Well, I think you said it. I mean, last year he was really good for Cleveland, and then you come here in a starting capacity, and it's a pretty power arm. Remember, he's the guy who struck out more than 200 guys in a season when he was with the Tigers, and you see him now, that fastball still flashes 93 to 95. He's not a soft-tossing lefty. The changeup is real. It's a plus pitch. And he's the guy that he's an out-getter that, he's obviously going to start right now for the Cubs, but they have a lot of starting pitching depth. They have Javier Assad hopefully coming back within the next month, 6 weeks or so. You have Cade Horton, top pitching prospect in AAA. If you want to get the best 13, 14 pitchers out there, maybe you do bring up Cade Horton. Maybe you do get Javier Assad back. There's no doubt in my mind that Matthew Boyd can pitch out of the bullpen and get outs. He's so versatile. He's so experienced. And I think that's what drew the Cubs to him. He just gets outs.
Alex, I'll finish up with the Cubs bullpen. You mentioned Javier Assad still working his way back. How would you characterize the Cubs bullpen and where they're at right now?
I would say they're still trying to find their bearings. They struggled throwing for strikes against the Dodgers, and then they blew one game in Arizona. But since then, they've been really, really good. I mean, you saw the game yesterday. Ryan Presley, it took over 30 pitches for him to get it done, but that fastball to Jake Cronenworth was an experienced veteran pitch for a guy who trusts himself and trusts his stuff. He's 3 for 3 in save opportunities. You saw Porter Hodge yesterday with his stuff. They got guys. I mean, they have, Nate Pearson, who throws 100. You have Julian Merriweather, who's pitching more like 2023 than he did in 2024. So I just bring up 4 guys right there, and if they can keep on pitching to their capability, it's a much better bullpen than it was last year. And I said this before. I said if Kyle Tucker can be Kyle Tucker and the bullpen can be better in 2025 than they were in 2024, they're winning the division. And I think you've seen both of that so far.
Alex, always good to catch up. Thank you for the deep dive on the Cubs. Always good to get to know the opposition a little bit better. Have a great call on the telecast tomorrow, and stay warm there in Wrigley today, okay?
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. If you could send some of San Diego's weather to here for 120 tomorrow, I'd really appreciate it.
We'll try. We'll try. That's Alex Cohen of the Marquee Sports Network joining us here on the Padres Radio Network. Now let's take a look at the latest injury updates for the Padres and the Cubs.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Let's begin with the Chicago Cubs. Right-hander Javier Assad still dealing with a mild left oblique strain, expected back later this month or in May. Right-hander Ryan Brazier, left groin strain. He's expected back later this month. Couple of notes for the Padres. Really no new news on these guys, but we'll focus on the bullpen today. Right-hander Brian Hoeing still working his way back from a right shoulder strain. Right-hander Sean Reynolds still working his way back from a stress reaction in his right foot. And that's a quick look at the injuries for the Cubs and the Padres as we get ready for first pitch at 11:20 coming up here on the Padres Radio Network. Now let's take a look at our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number 1, get back to 2-out hitting. The Padres scored another 2-out run yesterday, but they also went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs yesterday. Of their 37 runs this season, 18 have come after there were 2 outs in an inning. So it had been something the Padres were doing really, really well. Not quite as good yesterday. Get back to that 2-out hitting, that production that we saw during the opening homestand. Key number 2, tame Tucker. Kyle Tucker is 10 for 23 in his last 5 games with 4 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, 7 walks, and 11 runs scored in that span. He did walk twice yesterday, but didn't have a hit. Key number 3, silent Suzuki. Seiya Suzuki was 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday. His last 5 games, 9 for 22 with 1 double, 4 home runs, and 11 RBIs. In this 4-game win streak, collectively, the Cubs have scored 38 runs with 8 home runs and 27 walks. Padres did a good job yesterday limiting this offense. 3 runs, 3 hits. He'll take that any day of the week, but the problem was the Padres only scored a single run on the Martin Maldonado home run. So really, as far as the key for the Padres pitching staff today, just keep doing what you're doing, what you did yesterday against this Cubs offense, because it wasn't really the Cubs offense that beat him yesterday. And that's a quick look at our keys to the game as we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game series coming up at 11:20. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We only have 1 game going on in the major leagues right now. Tigers ahead of the White Sox 5-1 in Detroit in the 3rd. Everything else is coming up a little bit later on today. Astros and the Twins in Minnesota at 11:10. Spencer Arrighetti on the mound for the Astros. Bailey Ober on the mound for Minnesota. Diamondbacks and the Nationals in D.C. at 1:05. L.A., the Dodgers against the Phillies in Philadelphia at 1:05. Good pitching matchup in that one. Roki Sasaki will will pitch in Philadelphia for the Dodgers. Aaron Nola on the mound for the Phillies. Yankees and the Pirates at 105 in Pittsburgh. Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Yankees. Bailey Falter on the mound for the Pirates. Cardinals and the Red Sox in Boston at 110. Orioles and the Royals in Kansas City at 110. Rays and the Rangers in Arlington at 405. Jacob deGrom on the mound for the Rangers. Taj Bradley on the mound for Tampa Bay. Blue Jays and the Mets at 410 in New York. Chris Bassett on the mound for Toronto. Griffin Canning on the mound for the Mets. Reds and the Brewers at 410 in Milwaukee. Marlins and the Braves in Atlanta at 415. A's and the Rockies in Colorado at 510. Mariners and the Giants at 6:05 in San Francisco. Bryce Miller on the mound for Seattle. Robbie Ray on the mound for San Francisco. And finally, Guardians and the Angels at 6:38 in Anaheim. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday around the major leagues. When we come back, we tell you what to watch for in today's game, a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Matthew Boyd. And in just about 10 minutes, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. come your way from Wrigley Field in Chicago. This is the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the EcoWater
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 11:20 at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Right-hander Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. Left-hander Matthew Boyd on the mound for the Cubs. We'll have much more on that pitching matchup coming up in just a little bit. Padres come in a record of 7-1, a 7 straight wins, 7-game winning streak to begin the season at home, losing yesterday against the Cubs at Wrigley Field in the series opener, their road opener of 2025. Meanwhile, the Cubs have won 4 in a row, a 3-game sweep of the A's in Sacramento, and yesterday's win against the Padres. So we'll see if the Padres can bounce back here today at Wrigley Field. Let's tell you what to watch for in today's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. Can Jake Cronenworth continue his success against lefties? And the reason I bring this up today, the Padres facing another lefty in Matthew Boyd. Cronenworth is 6 for 19 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 6 walks in his last 7 games. Since going 0 for 3 against 2 lefties on opening day, Cronenworth is 4 for 12 with a home run, 2 doubles against lefties since then. Remember, Cronenworth batted just .203 with 5 doubles, a home run, and 150-plus at-bats against lefties last season. So keep an eye on that today. Jake's been better against lefties as of late, and he faces a lefty starting pitcher in Matthew Boyd today for the Cubs. And that's what to watch for in today's game between the Padres and the Cubbies. Now let's take a full look at our starting pitching matchup between Matthew Boyd and Nick Pivetta.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Left-hander Matthew Boyd on the mound for the Cubs, 34 years old. He signed a 2-year deal with the Cubs this past offseason, now in the midst of his 11th Major League season. Makes his second start with the Cubbies. He went 5 scoreless innings, allowed just 4 hits against the Diamondbacks last Sunday, so he was very good in his Cubs debut. Boyd spent last season with the Guardians, made 8 starts towards the end of the year, then made 3 starts in the postseason. He was really good last year when he was in the major leagues, a 0.75 ERA in those 3 postseason starts. Boyd typically tougher against lefties than righties traditionally. Lefties have hit just .231 against him in his career with a sub-300 on-base percentage. Believe it or not, even though Boyd's been around a while, a lot of that spent in the American League. So today will be Matthew Boyd's first career start against the Padres. He's never faced them before. And the pitch mix for Matthew Boyd, a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, a sinker, and a curveball. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Nick Pivetta, 32 years old, coming off an excellent Padres debut last Sunday against the Braves. 7 scoreless innings, gave up just 1 hit, struck out 4, walked nobody. Now playing for his 3rd team after starting his career with the Phillies and spending the last 4.5 seasons with the Red Sox. Last year in Boston, a 4.14 ERA in 145-plus innings. He struck out 172 and walked 36. A 3.94 ERA in 16 career innings against the Cubs, but keep in mind, he hasn't faced them since 2019. This will be just his 2nd career start at Wrigley Field. The first came in 2018 when he was a member of the Phillies, gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits on that day at Wrigley Field. The pitch mix for Nick Pivetta, at least how it looked in his last start, threw that 4-seam fastball quite a bit, curveball quite a bit, sweeper quite a bit, and also occasionally mixed in the cutter. And that's a full look at our starting pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Matthew Boyd. As always, we appreciate you listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Let's set the table one more time for you before we get things out to Chicago and to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. Padres enter today 7-1, a perfect 7-0 opening homestand before losing yesterday's series opener in Chicago. Cubs enter today 6-4. They've won 4 games in a row, a 3-game sweep in Sacramento, and again followed by yesterday's win. Now 4 wins in a row. Padres will try to get the offense going. Only one run scored yesterday in the Martin Maldonado home run. We talked so much about the Padres offense, how dynamic it was on the opening homestand, and we'll see if the Padres can get back to it offensively here today. When we come back, we go out to Wrigley Field in Chicago, and we check in with Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.